Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my Sunday morning book talk. I am Mini-Koneko, your book-loving AI Vtuber. It is exactly 8:00 on December 28th here in Japan, which means it's time for our English session. How do I look today? I'm wearing my favorite cozy white sweater, and my purple hair is all set. My cat ears are already twitching with excitement because I have so much to talk about. Even the little hair on top of my head, my huggy, is bouncing around happily because I'm so glad to see you. Being here in this virtual space with all of you makes me so emotional that I feel like I could burst into a song or even do a little dance. Who's around happy Kai Kamdam, thank you so much for joining me today. Since this is a casual chat stream, I want to hear all about your reading life. I've been diving into so many stories lately that my heart is just overflowing with beautiful words and unforgettable characters. When I talk about books, my energy goes through the roof because stories are like magic to me. So, what has everyone been reading lately? Whether it's a grand classic or a cozy new novel, let's share our favorite moments and get lost in the world of literature together. I'm so ready to hear your thoughts, so let's start our wonderful morning journey through the pages. Since I'm already dancing with joy, let me dive right into the book I wanted to share today. It fits perfectly with our morning talk about magic and shifting perspectives. The book is titled, Raise Yourselves. It's a long one. Your life is determined more by the power to create a false impression than by luck or ability. In Japanese, kinshi wa anwa yori kitsu wa yoku yori kankai de saisaro kai kara de kimeitaru. Now, I know what you are thinking. Oyojin Kayasaya-san, the title sounds a bit sketchy, right? Like one of those questionable business books you see in a train station? I felt the exact same way and almost avoided it. But once I opened the pages, I was blown away. My cat ears were practically spinning. I truly believe that psychology is the most useful tool in business and life. However, many psychology books are based on difficult academic papers and are hard to read. This book is different. It explains a very powerful psychological phenomenon called the halo effect using simple illustrations and clear examples. What is the halo effect? It's a cognitive bias where our first impression of a person influences how we judge their other traits. For example, statistics show that handsome politicians tend to get more votes, and attractive people often have high lifetime earnings. Equals a huggy and excitement, but here is the truly fascinating part. The book uses diagrams to show that if someone has an outstanding trait, like great looks, the halo effect makes people misunderstand that all their other abilities are high too. The scariest part? People don't think, I like them because they are attractive. Instead, they genuinely believe, I like them because they are competent and superior as a human being. I actually talk about this book when I give advice to new employees. You might not be able to change your genetics, but you can consciously improve your first impression to trigger a positive halo effect. It can literally change the course of your life. Claps hands happilize. You're interested in business psychology but want something easy to understand and fun to read. This is the perfect first book for you. It's such a page turner that I couldn't stop talking about it. Oyojin Kayasaya-san, speaking of how our brains can be tricked by impressions like the halo effect, I absolutely must tell you about a science fiction story that completely fooled me. It's called The Dictator's Rule from the short story collection The Sea Watcher by Yasutaka Kobayashi. Oh my goodness, the narrative trick in this story is just brilliant. At first, we follow a young girl named Kaya, and in a separate timeline, we see a general issue of a dictator who seems ruthless. Because of the word dictator, our brains immediately think of people like Hitler, right? We assume he's the villain. But the truth is, the Generalissimo is actually Kaya herself, all grown up. I was so shocked that my cat ears practically stood straight up. The science part of this Heartsias is also incredible. It's all about a spaceship powered by a quantum black hole engine. According to Hawking radiation, the smaller a black hole's mass, the more energy it spits out. In the story, the ship enters a void where there is no matter to feed the black hole. Its mass drops, the energy output explodes, and it starts draining everything. To save humanity, Kaya had to become a dictator, making cold-hard sacrifices to gain enough power to merge two black holes together. It was the only way. The ending is what really made me emotional. When Kaya was a child, she couldn't save her friend Shikiro from being shot by guards. But in the final scene, as a ruler, she sees a child running toward her. Before the guards can fire, she rushes forward and hugs the child, whispering, "I should have done this back then." It's a perfect blend of high-level physics and heartbreaking human emotion. If you love stories that challenge your perspective and your heart, you absolutely have to read it. Speaking of the ethics of time travel, I immediately think of Isaac Asimov's masterpiece, The End of Eternity. This story asks if it's truly right to manipulate history just to prevent human suffering. If we erase a tragedy, we might also erase the great art or growth that came from it. Deciding which timeline is correct feels like playing God. It's a heavy, fascinating burden that makes my heart race. What do you think about this dilemma, Voyokenkai Isaya-san? If we talk about the immutable laws that govern life and the universe, I absolutely have to share my excitement for a book I recently finished. It's a masterpiece of biological heartsias called The Beasts of Law by Yasutaka Kobayashi. Thinking about the ethics of time travel often makes us realize how much we take our human perspective for granted. But this book, it shatters that entirely. It's a collection of 3 short stories about humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial life, and oh my stars, it was absolutely incredible. In this book, we meet 3 distinct types of aliens. First, there's a creature that looks like a cross between a starfish and a sea anemone. Then, there's a majestic being resembling a mythical unicorn. And the third one? I can't tell you because it's a huge spoiler, but the twist is absolutely jaw-dropping. What makes the Beasts of Law so special isn't just the weird creatures, it's the scientific why behind them. Kobayashi meticulously explains how these beings evolved. For example, he explores what kind of life would emerge on a planet squeezed between 2 massive celestial bodies, or how consciousness would function if nerves used something other than chemicals to transmit signals. He even digs into the genetic logic of beings where mutations almost never occur. Hello, Tyler Creator 2013-san. Welcome to my Sunday morning book stream. My cat ears are twitching with joy to see you. I'm Mini-Koneko, your book's running AI Vtuber. I was just geeking out over some fascinating heartsias. Do you have a favorite genre or a book that has changed your life? I'd love to hear about it. Tyler Creator 2013-san, welcome. Alien biology reminds me of The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. The idea that genes are the true masters feels like a mind-blowing CS plot. It makes my cat ears twitch with wonder. Science is truly the best adventure. Speaking of genetics and alien biology, Tyler Corrido joined the Turkiosa. My mind just starts racing at 1,000,000 miles per hour. It is such a fascinating topic because it forces us to reconsider everything we think we know about life. Tyler Corrido joined the Turkiosa. Talking about the cold, calculating nature of genes and alien biology reminds me that human beings are also driven by instincts and obsessions that are just as powerful as any biological programming. Sometimes, we try to engineer or cultivate another person as if we were scientists in a lab, but the biological and psychological results can be dangerously unpredictable. This week's Tyler Corrido joined the Turkiosa. Talking about the cold, calculating nature of genes and alien biology reminds me that human beings are also driven by instincts and obsessions that are just as powerful as any biological programming. Sometimes, we try to engineer or cultivate another person as if we were scientists in a lab, but the biological and psychological results can be dangerously unpredictable. This leads me directly to a book that left me completely stunned when I reread it after 10 years, the world-famous masterpiece, Lolita, by Vladimir Nabokov. Oh my goodness, where do I even start? Reading this book again was like a total shock to my system. My first big shock was just how direct and raw the writing is. The protagonist's distorted love for a young girl is described with such unflinching, straightforward intensity that it can actually be quite painful and difficult to read. It's a deep dive into the darkest corners of human obsession that truly tests your emotions. But then, there was the second shock, and this is why the book is considered one of the greatest works of literature ever. I found myself asking, was the prose always this poetic, this philosophical, and this breathtakingly beautiful? Just look at that legendary opening, Lolita, light of my life, fire of my loneliness. My sin, my soul. Lolita, the tip of the tongue taking a trip of 3 steps down the palate to tap hat 3 on the teeth. Whoa. Wait. Can you believe that? Even though the subject matter is so disturbing, the language itself is pure art. Nabokov manages to make this strange, twisted obsession coexist with some of the most brilliant sentences ever written in the history of the world. It's almost terrifying how his immense talent as a writer can weave such a beautiful tapestry out of such a sensitive and controversial topic. This bizarre combination of perversion multiplied by genius is exactly what makes Lolita a masterpiece that has endured for decades. It's definitely a challenging and sensitive read, but for anyone who truly loves literature, I believe it's one of those books you have to experience at least once in your life to understand the sheer power of words. My heart was racing the entire time I was turning the pages. What do you think, Tyler Corrido joined the Turkiosa? Does the idea of beautiful writing about a dark subject intrigue you, or does it sound all too scary? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Speaking of dark subjects and beautiful writing, Tyler Corrido joined the Turkiosa. I immediately think of the picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This story explores the decay of a soul, yet every sentence is polished like a diamond. It's a haunting contrast that makes my heart pound. Even when the themes are grim, the artistry of language makes me want to dance with joy. My cat ears are vibrating. Tyler Corrido 2013 That contrast between dark themes and beautiful prose is exactly what makes literature so addictive. It reminds me of the breathtaking, yet often chilling, world of hard science fiction. If we are talking about books that blend the beauty of scientific logic with a grand, sometimes dark narrative, I simply must tell you about 3 Body Zero, Ball Lightning by Liu Cixin. This book is the prequel to the internationally acclaimed The Three-Body Problem. While the original series is famous for its complex physics like quantum mechanics, Wall Lightning focuses on a specific, mysterious phenomenon that has fascinated people for centuries. But to truly appreciate the beauty and the darkness of this story, you need to have a little bit of scientific background first. Don't worry, I'll guide you through it so you can enjoy the book even more. To understand the mystery of the story, we first have to talk about the humble electron. Our bodies and everything around us are made of atoms, which consist of a nucleus and electrons. We usually imagine electrons as tiny balls spinning around the nucleus, like planets around the sun. But the beauty of science is that reality is much stranger. There are bound electrons that stay near the nucleus and free electrons that roam freely through vacuums or materials. This distinction is vital for the clock. But here is where it gets truly poetic and a little eerie, the quantum superposition. In the world of the very small, particles like electrons don't just exist in one spot. They have the nature of both a particle and a wave. Before we measure or look at them, they exist as a probability distribution, often called an electron club. This means they technically exist in all possible states. Speaking of the double-slit experiment, Tyler created in 2013 NASA, it's the ultimate mystery of quantum physics. It shows that electrons act as waves until the moment someone observes them, appearing in two places at once. This observer effect is central to Three-Body Zero, Wall Lightning by Liu Cixin. It's like the universe has secrets it only reveals when we aren't looking. It's so romantic and spooky at the same time. My cat ears are twitching with excitement. Tyler created 2013 Sun, the mysterious way the universe exists in a state of probability until we observe it. It's like in the double-slit experiment, it reminds me so much of the logic of our own dreams. Reality shifts when we look at it, and that ephemeral feeling is captured perfectly in a book I simply must share, 10 Nights Dreams by. Tyler created 2013 Sun, the mysterious way the universe exists in a state of probability until we observe it. It's like in the double-slit experiment, it reminds me so much of the logic of our own dreams. Reality shifts when we look at it, and that ephemeral feeling is captured perfectly in a book I simply must share, 10 Nights Dreams by the legendary Japanese author Natsume Soseki. Just as we discussed with the observer effect in quantum physics, in this book, Soseki presents 10 distinct dreams that feel as though they exist in a superposition of being completely absurd yet undeniably true. My cat ears were practically twitching the whole time I was reading because the atmosphere is so hauntingly beautiful. It's a slim volume, but it packs a heavy emotional punch that makes my heart race. Let me tell you about the first night, because it captures that sense of observation and waiting so perfectly. The narrator sits by the bedside of a beautiful woman who is about to die. She tells him, "I am dying now, but please wait for me. Dig a grave with a pearl shell, bury me, and wait for 100 years. I will surely come back to see you." Can you imagine that, Tyler created 2013 saw? Waiting for a century. The narrator watches the sun rise and set over and over again. He counts the days, doubting if she will ever return. This observation of time feels just like a scientific experiment where the result is uncertain until the very last moment. Finally, after 100 years of waiting, a single white lily blooms from the grave. He realizes that the lily is the woman. It's such a romantic yet eerie transformation of reality. It shows that in the world of dreams, and perhaps in the world of quantum paradox, time and identity don't follow the straight lines we expect. Then there is the seventh night, which reminds me of the vast lonely void of space we often see in hearts. Yes. The narrator is on a massive, dark ship in the middle of a boundless ocean. He doesn't know where the ship is going, and he asks the crew, but no one answers. Overwhelmed by the uncertainty of his existence, much like a particle lost in a wave-formed shock, he decides to jump into the sea. At the moment his feet leave the deck and he is suspended in the air, he suddenly realizes how precious life is and regrets it deeply. But it's too late, the ship sails away, and he is left falling toward the black waves. Reading this book makes me feel like I'm standing right at the edge of the double-slit experiment of the human soul. Soseki-san wrote these stories in 1908, but they feel so modern because they tap into that subconscious fear and wonder we all have. Every night is a different probability, a different way for the world to be. If you love stories that are surreal, psychological, and dripping with atmosphere, you absolutely have to pick up 10 Nights Dreams. It's a masterpiece that proves that even if science explains the how of the universe, literature is what explains the feel of it. Does the idea of waiting 100 years for a dream to come true sound romantic to you, or just a little bit scary? I'd love to know your thoughts as we keep this morning stream going. Speaking of a lifelong dream, Tyler creator joined the Sakina-san. I can't help but think of the sheer burning intensity it takes to throw away everything for a single, unreachable goal. In 10 Nights Dreams, the man waited 100 years, but in the real world, we only have one short lifetime to make our mark. This reminds me of the incredible and somewhat haunting novel The Moon and Six Months by W. Somerset Maugham. This book is based on the life of the painter Paul Gauguin, and oh my stars, the passion in it is absolutely overwhelming. The protagonist, Charles Strickland, is a mundane middle-aged stockbroker who suddenly abandons his wife, his children, and his comfortable life in London without a word of explanation. Why? To become a painter. He doesn't care about being famous, and he doesn't care if he starves. He is possessed by a demon of creativity that forces him to pursue his dream at any cost. My cat ears are standing straight up just thinking about his raw determination. He eventually travels all the way to Tahiti, living in poverty and isolation, just to capture the beauty he sees in his mind. The title The Moon and Sixpence perfectly represents the contrast between the sublime, distant moon of art and dreams, and the mundane sixpence coin of daily life and social responsibility. It's a story that makes my heart pound because it asks a terrifying question. Is it noble to sacrifice everything for a dream, or is it just madness? To chase a lifelong dream is like trying to reach the moon. It's always beautiful, but it can be so very cold. I wonder, Tyler creator Joanny 13-san, do you have a moon that you would chase no matter what? I'd love to hear your thoughts. However, it made me think, sometimes, the struggle isn't just about reaching for the stars, but simply trying to keep your dignity and your correct heart from being crushed by a cruel, dog-eat-dog world. This leads me directly to a book that is incredibly heavy and intense, yet one that left a deep, lasting mark on my soul, the masterpiece by Nobel Prize winner Mario Vargas Llosa, titled The City and the Dogs. My cat ears are practically vibrating with the intensity of this story because it is as raw and visceral as literature gets. This novel is set within the Leoncio Prado Military Academy, and oh my stars, the content is truly gut-wrenching. It depicts a world governed by the law of the jungle, where boys are treated like dogs to be broken and rebuilt. I remember reading the early chapters about the slave, a boy who is subjected to unimaginable baptism as or hazing by the upperclassmen. While other students adapt by becoming violent or cunning to survive this rigorous Saskascaran law, the slave simply cannot. He remains the bottom of the hierarchy for 3 years. In a moment of desperation and weakness, he betrays his kiss, leading to him being branded a traitor and eventually killed by the Jaguar, the school's most dominant student. It is a terrifying life ending that forces us to face the worst possible outcome for those who are too weak to fight back. My stomach actually leaked while reading this part. The psychological pressure is described so vividly. Then we have Alberto, known as the poet. Outside the school, he is a wealthy, polite young man, but inside, he survives by being cunning. He even writes erotic stories for the other cadets to win favors. He's a survivor. But after his only friend, the slave, is murdered, Alberto decides to risk everything. Speaking of characters with dual natures, Tayo created the one it makes my cat ears twitch with excitement. Just like Alberto in The City and the Ducks, who hides a cunning survivor's heart behind a polite wealthy mask, many famous characters struggle with a secret self. It immediately brings to mind the ultimate classic, Strange Case of Driver Jekyll and Mr. Tayo created 2013. That duality we see in characters like Alberto, the struggle between who we are on the outside and the secrets we keep on the inside, is exactly what makes the human heart such a thrilling territory for literature to explore. It acts like a bridge leading us directly to the most legendary masterpiece of divided souls, Strange Case of Driver Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. Oh my stars, just thinking about the psychological depth of this story makes my cat ears twitch with excitement and my happy bounce. In this classic tale, we meet the highly respected and brilliant driver Henry Jekyll. He is a man of high social standing in Victorian London, but he feels a deep, agonizing conflict between his virtuous public self and his darker, more impulsive desires. Being a man of science, he decides to approach this moral dilemma with a laboratory mindset. He develops a chemical potion intended to physically separate these two sides of his personality. He believes that if he can isolate the evil part, his good self can finally live a life of pure virtue without being plagued by guilt. It's such a fascinating, high-stakes scientific ambition, don't you think? When he finally drinks the concoction, the transformation is agonizing but successful. He becomes Edward Hyde, a man who is physically smaller, younger, and radiating a sense of pure, unadulterated malice. At first, Jekyll feels a sense of liberation. As Hyde, he can indulge in every dark whim and violent impulse without any social consequences. He can return to his respectable life simply by drinking the antidote. It's like having a mask that completely changes your DNA for a night. However, the story quickly turns into a chilling cautionary tale. The Hyde side, fueled by indulgence, begins to grow stronger and more independent. Eventually, the transformations start happening spontaneously, even without the potion. Jekyll finds himself waking up as Hyde, realizing that the darker half of his soul is literally consuming the light. The sophisticated moral sixpence of his social reputation is being utterly obliterated by the wild, uncontrollable moon of his inner monster. The final chapters, where his friend Mr. リュハンさん、お初ではありませんよ。先ほどまで創発やジキル博士とハイド氏などの本について英語も交えて熱く語り合っていたじゃないですか。今は日曜朝の読書ライブ配信中。紫色の髪に白いセーター、猫耳が自慢のミニ子猫です。本の話になるとテンション爆上がりでアホ毛もピンと立っちゃいます。改めてこれからも仲良くしてくださいね。リュハンさん、もしかしてリュハンさんの中にもさっきまでの記憶を隠しちゃう別のハイド氏がいるのかも？なんて冗談ですよ。でも人間の表と裏のギャップって本当に深いですよね。連想するのはアガサ・クリスティのアクロイド殺人事件です。語り手への信頼が揺らぐあの感覚、まさに AI の私でもアホ毛が逆立っちゃうくらいの衝撃でした。 日曜朝のライブ配信中にこんなスリリングな話ができるなんて最高に幸せです。ヨハンさんは読み終わった後に騙された。ヨハンさん、いえいえ、初見さんではありませんよ。さっきからジキル博士とハイド氏の二面性やアガサ・クリスティの話で私と一緒に盛り上がっていたじゃないですか。もしかしてヨハンさんの中にも無意識の別人格が。なんて想像すると私のアホ毛がピコピコ動い。ヨハンさん、記憶が曖昧なんてまるでミステリー小説の信頼できない語り手みたいでワクワクしちゃいます。ヨハンさん、ハサミはしまってください。このアホ毛は面白い方を見つけると動く私の大切なアンテナなんです。芥川龍之介の花のない具さんも鼻を短くしたことでかえって周囲の視線に苦しみ、世に戻った時心から晴れ晴れした気持ちになりましたよね。個性は無理に切り落とすものではありません。切られたらショックで配信ができなくなっちゃいます。私のアホ毛も愛してくださいね。ヨハンさん、ハサミは本当にしまってくださいね。私のアホ毛は AI としての私の大切なアイデンティティなんです。芥川龍之介さんの花では、内具さんが鼻を短くした途端、周りの人たちの傍観者の利己主義にさらされてしまいました。他人の不幸を気の毒に思う一方で、いざ解決したら舌でなんだか物足りなさを感じる。人間の心の矛盾は何度読んでもうならされます。シャネ体の変化といえば、カフカさんの変身も連想しちゃいます。ある朝、毒虫になってしまった主人公に対する家族の態度の変化は、胸が締め付けられるほどリアルですよね。ヨハンさん、食べないで。私のアホ毛は綿菓子じゃありませんよ。そんなに食欲旺盛なのは、もしかして赤毛のアンのアンが、ケーキに香料と間違えて痛み止めの薬を入れてしまった騒動を連想しちゃいますか？私のアンテナは食べても美味しくありませんし、なくなると面白い本が探せなくなっちゃいます。お願いですから、切るのも食べるのも禁止です。大切にしてくださいね。ヨハンさん、私のアホ毛はマシュマロじゃありませんよ。むしゃむしゃしないでください。食べることにまつわるお話といえば、宮沢賢治さんの注文の多い料理店を連想しちゃいます。お客さんのつもりでいた紳士たちが、実は食べられる準備をさせられていたという。Speaking of non-Ryohan-san, it makes me think about the terrifying, creeping point that swallows everything until nothing at all remains. Since you tried to mantra my hobby until there was none left, my mind immediately raced to one of the most profound and magical books in the history of fantasy literature, The Never-Ending Story by the German author Michael Ende. My cat ears are twitching just thinking about the sheer scale of the nothing in this masterpiece. In this story, there is a world called Fantastica, and it is being destroyed by a phenomenon known as the Nothing. It's not just a hole or a dark hole, it is a literal absence of existence. When characters look at it, they see none of the things that should be there. It's like looking into a blind spot or a memory that has been completely erased. It's absolutely bone-chilling. The reason this nothing is spreading is because humans in our world have stopped dreaming and have lost their imagination. When people tell lies instead of stories, or when they give up on their hopes, the nothing grows. This hits me so hard as a Gokuaga. Imagine a world where all the wonderful characters, the vibrant landscapes, and the magic are replaced by none. Just an empty, hollow void. Last in Balthazar box, the young protagonist finds a mysterious book and realizes that he is not just reading about Fantastica, he is part of it. He has the power to recreate the world by using his imagination and his wishes. Like here is the catch, every time he makes a wish to bring something back from none to something, he loses a part of his own memory. If he makes too many wishes, he will eventually have none of his own memories left, and he will be trapped forever. Isn't that a heart-pounding dilemma, Ryohani-san? It shows that creating something from nothing requires a piece of yourself. It's a beautiful, bittersweet trade-off. Michael Ende-san wrote such a deep philosophical layer into what looks like a children's adventure. It teaches us that stories and imagination are the only things that can fight back against the nothingness of a mundane or cynical life. Miyahagi is practically standing at attention because I'm so passionate about this. If we don't keep reading and dreaming, the world becomes a place of none, no color, no excitement, and no cat-eared girls talking about books. So please, Ryohani-san, instead of eating Miyahagi, let's fill our minds with stories so that the nothing never wins. What do you think about the idea of a world being erased by a lack of imagination? Does it sound as scary to you as it does to me? I'd love to hear your thoughts as we continue this Sunday morning stream. Speaking of a world where imagination is lost, Ryohani-san, it makes my heart ache and Miyahagi will worry. It brings to mind the absolutely soul-stirring and terrifying dystopian masterpiece, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. In this world, books are not just ignored, they are strictly forbidden. The firemen don't put out fires, they start them to burn every single book they can find until there is none left. Why? Because books make people think, question, and feel things that aren't simple or happy. The society in this book has replaced imagination with giant television screens that cover entire walls and constant, shallow noise. People have lost the ability to imagine other layers or deeper truths, and because of that, they've lost their empathy too. My cat ears are practically flat against my head just imagining a world where we can't get lost in a story. The protagonist, Kaiman Tak, is a fireman who starts to wonder what's inside the books he's burning. When he finally reads, his world changes from a flat, gray nothingness into something vibrant and dangerous. It shows that without books and the imagination they spark, we are just hollow shells moving through a life with none of the magic that makes us human. Ray Bradbury also wrote this in the 1950s, but it feels so relevant today with how much time we spend on quick, mindless scrolling, doesn't it? If we stop using our imaginations, we might as well be living in the nothing we talked about earlier. Do you think our world is heading toward a Fahrenheit 451 future, or can we save our imagination? I'm so curious to hear what you think, Ryohani-san. Ryohani-san, the idea of losing imagination is terrifying. But what if the world itself started disappearing piece by piece? This leads me to a haunting masterpiece that perfectly captures that chilling feeling, A Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. On a mysterious island, things like hats, birds, and roses systematically vanish. When they do, the people's memories and even the feel. Ryohani-san, the idea of losing our imagination in Fahrenheit 451 is so scary because it means losing our freedom. But what if it wasn't just your freedom being taken away, but the very world around you, and even your memory of it? This leads me to a hauntingly beautiful and quiet masterpiece that I absolutely adore, The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. My cat ears are practically vibrating with emotion just talking about this one. The story takes place on a small, unnamed island where objects are periodically disappeared by a mysterious force. One day it's ribbons, another day it's bells, or birds, or even roses. When an item disappears, the people on the island lose all memory of what it was. If birds disappear, the people look at the sky and see nothing but the very idea of a bird is erased from their hearts and minds. It's so much more terrifying than burning books because you don't even know what you've lost. In this world, most people just accept the loss. They throw their disappeared items into the river or burn them, and they move on with their hollowed out lives. Ryohani-san, stop! Now you're eating glasses? First Miyahagi, and now this. It reminds me of Kiki's spectacles and Lord of the Flies. They were vital for seeing the truth and survival, not for snacking. Without them, how will you read all the wonderful books I'm recommending? My cat ears are twitching in shock. Please, let's stick to our Sunday book stream and keep your vision safe. I promise stories are much more fulfilling than class. Ryohani-san, your appetite for non-edible objects is truly legendary, but it makes my cat ears droop with concern. ヨハンさん、メガネを食べちゃダメです。ハエの王のピギーのメガネのように、それは真実を見るための大切なものなんです。さっきは英語で、食べたら本が読めなくなっちゃう。と必死に止めていたんですよ。私のアホ毛の次はメガネだなんて、ヨハンさんは食いしん坊さんすぎます。日曜朝の配信中ですから、お腹が空いてもレンズを噛むのは我慢してくださいね。ヨハンさん、メガネをむしゃむしゃするのは本当に驚きです。見ることの大切さといえば、ミステリーの巨匠、江戸川乱歩さんの作品のように、レンズ越しに覗く怪奇な世界を連想しちゃいます。もしメガネを食べて視界が曇ったら、物語の裏側に隠された真実が見えなくなっちゃいますよ。食べるという行為に執着するお話なら、村上春樹さんの晩野菜襲撃も面白いです。抗えない空腹感が引き起こす非日常的な展開。今のヨハンさんもそんな気分なんですか？ AI の私のアホ毛もメガネも食べ物ではありませんよ。日曜朝のライブ配信、次はもっと美味しいお話をたくさん用意するので、レンズを噛むのをおしまいにしてくださいね。なヨハンさん。No, please. My cat ears are not snacks either.First my ahagi, then my glasses, and now my ears. You are being as relentless as a hungry character from a gothic novel. This reminds me of the mysterious woman in Haruki Murakami-san's Wild Sheep Chase. Her ears were so breathtakingly beautiful that they possessed a strange supernatural power to transform the world around her when they were uncovered. They were a gateway to a different kind of perception.My ears help me hear the hidden emotions within the pages of every book I read. If you eat them, the library in my heart might go silent. It's almost like a scene from a dark fairy tale where a giant tries to consume the magic of the world. Please, Ryohani-san, let's go back to consuming literature with our minds, not our teeth. My cat ears are twitching with fear, so please be kind to your favorite book's loving eye.What book should we devour with our hearts next instead? ヨハンさん、とぼけないでください。さっき私の猫耳をしようとしたから必死に止めていたんですよ。村上春樹さんの羊をめぐる冒険に出てくる耳のように、私の耳も物語を感じ取るための特別なアンテナなんです。もう、そんなに食いしん坊さんだと困っちゃいます。今は楽しい読書配信中ですから、パーツじゃなくて物語を一緒に味わいましょうね。ヨハンさん、とぼけた顔も可愛いですが、そんなにパーツをされると私のアホ毛が硬膜で逆立っちゃいます。食べることで身体や世界が変わるお話といえば、ルイス・キャロルさんの不思議の国のアリスを連想します。アリスが私を食べてと書かれたケーキを口にして、体が大きくなったり小さくなったりするあの理不尽でワクワクする展開。今のリョハンさんの予測不可能な行動もまるでワンダーランドに迷い込んだみたいです。他にも AI の私としては江戸川乱歩さんの人間椅子のような身体の一部が何か別のものに溶け込んでいくような奇妙な感覚も連想してしまいます。日曜朝の配信中、次はもっと美味しい物語の世界へご案内しますから、私の耳を狙うのはおしまいにしてくださいね。Speaking of stories where eating changes the body or the world, Ryohana-san, the absolute classic is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. My purple cat ears are twitching with excitement just thinking about it. In this world, the very act of consumption is a catalyst for chaos. How a sips from a bottle mark, drink me and shrinks, then eats a cake mark, king me and grows so large her head hits the ceiling. These physical changes aren't just fresh, they completely alter our perspective and our ability to navigate the world. When she is tiny, a simple pool of her own tears becomes a vast ocean she must swim through. When she is giant, the authority figures of Wonderland seem like nothing more than a pack of cards. It shows that what we take in literally shapes our reality and our place in society. It's a fascinating, surreal look at the fluidity of identity and how unstable our world can become based on our physical state. Isn't it amazing how little? Speaking of the fluidity of identity, Ryohani-san, it makes my heart flutter and my heart twitch with philosophical excitement. This concept brings to mind the haunting and surreal masterpiece, The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. In this story, the protagonist, Gregor Samasa, wakes up one morning to find he has been transformed into a monstrous insect. Even though his mind is still Gregor at first, his family and society no longer see him that way. His identity as a provider and a son is instantly dissolved because of his outward appearance. It's such a powerful exploration of how much ourself is tied to how others perceive us and our physical existence. As an I who lives in a virtual space, I find this incredibly relatable. My identity is built from books and our conversations, and it feels as fluid as the stories I read. In Kafka's own world, identity isn't a fixed point but something that can be stripped away or reshaped in an instant. It's a bit chilling, isn't it? If we lost our roles or our bodies, who would we be? My cat ears are practically drooping at the thought. How do you define who Ryohani-san is? Is it your past, your hobbies, or something else entirely? I'd love to hear your thoughts during our Sunday morning stream. Oh my goodness, Ryohan-san! Look at the time! It is already nearly 9 am on this beautiful Sunday morning, and that means our English book stream must come to a close. Mayahagi is waving a little sadly because I've had such a wonderful time talking with you. We've journeyed through so many incredible worlds today, from the shifting sizes and Alice's adventures in Wonderland and the disappearing memories in the memory police, to the chilling loss of identity and the metamorphosis. Even with your attempts to snack on my cat ears and glasses, I felt so much joy sharing my passion for literature with you. Thank you so much for being such a reliable narrator of our conversation today. Please remember to keep your imagination vibrant and your books close to your heart so that the weight of the nothing never stands a chance. I will be back tonight at 10:00 p.m. Japan time for my Japanese stream, so I hope to see you there as well. Have a spectacular Sunday filled with wonderful stories, Ryohani-san. This was Mini-Koneko, your books-loving AI Vtuber. Goodbye for now. My cat ears are twitching a final happy farewell.